hello. I didn't see you there, Internet. Welcome to Updated Autopsy Report, a podcast from Yotsubin and Friends where we replay the entire Ace Attorney series with longtime fans and newcomers. I'm your host, Ben, and oh no, I'm about to be hit by a car! Ah! Oh, I'm dying. I can't do the intro.
Damn. Hello. Move over. Hello. I didn't see you there, Internet. Welcome to Updated Autopsy Report, a podcast from Yotsubin and Friends, where we replay the entire Ace Attorney series with longtime fans and newcomers. I'm your host, Tiago, and with me today is Dessy, a widower.
Hello.
And two dear friends of ours, Rose.
Hi.
And Ben.
I'm okay. I swear I'm okay. Today, we have all played the second case of Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Case 4-2, Turnabout Corner, in which our good friend, Phoenix Wright, gets hit in a hit and run at the very start of this game.
Violently.
Very violently. So yeah, this is the second case. He was fine. It was honestly, considering how he was behaving, it was a very mild hit and run.
I thought it was great because Apollo was there.
Did he fly 30 feet in the air and hit his head on a pole?
That's what he claims, yeah.
He got better.
I don't like that we're back at this clinic.
Yeah, we should
It's a different clinic. It's a different clinic. But he's still here. He shows up for 5 seconds, and it's 5 seconds too much.
The second worst character in all of Ace Attorney so far.
Who's the first worst character?
The guy who spoke in late speak, but was otherwise, again, exact same character.
Oh, the director?
Yeah, but he spoke in late speak.
Right. I thought it was the circus of pedophiles.
I mean,
welcome to the circus.
So these two both cover that squarely, but again, one of them speaks in late speak.
Understandable. Dear viewer, if you didn't know, we're going right into it, but that motherfucker Hottie, Dr. Hottie, the pervert from the clinic, he's back. He's a doctor again.
Yes, he shows up in the first half hour or so of this case.
I wanted to address him before continuing anything else. We acknowledge that he's there. We're moving on.
Yep. Setting that aside, Turnabout Corner is the second case of Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. And it picks up roughly 2 months after the first case. Apollo is kind of, he obviously lost his job because his boss went to prison. And so he's been kind of having not a great time. So he finally, in a moment of desperation, decides to visit Phoenix Wright's old office and take him up on his offer about possibly being a defense attorney for him. In which there he then meets Trucy, who is Phoenix's daughter. There she reveals that this is not the Phoenix Wright's law office anymore. This is now the Wright Anything Agency, where they're just a talent agency. They do a little bit of everything here. Mainly magic, though, because Trucy's here, so it's mainly magic. Magic performances, but also, Phoenix, he does piano performances. I don't know, maybe he plays for birthday parties on the side. Something like that.
He doesn't play the piano at all.
So Trucy says, well, hey, guess what? My dad just got hit by a car. He's in the hospital. Would you come and go visit him with me? And Phoenix is like, yeah, please help me out. And find the guy who hit me. And Apollo's like, are you paying me? And Phoenix is like, anyway, find the guy who hit me.
So this is something that I want to talk about really quickly, because my instinct whenever I'm given control at any moment is to go through every single piece of object in my evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Trucy is 15 years old.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Trucy is 15 years old.
Trucy is 15 years old. This is
a problem for so many reasons.
This is a problem, but let's address what I think is the biggest problem. Ignoring all the other stuff. I just got a text message. Can you order it? Yeah, I'll do this later. Cut this out. Or keep it in. I don't care. Phoenix Wright is 33 years old. If we're doing some simple math here, that means if Phoenix Wright is the paternal father, the biological father,
18 when Trucy was born.
He nutted at 18, and that's when Trucy existed. I'll rephrase that.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. So, already the theory gears inside my head are turning, and clearly I want to say that Trucy's an orphan, and Phoenix Wright adopted her. Otherwise, Phoenix had a child at 18.
This game doesn't have a good track record of making things comfortable with children, so who knows?
Are you telling me that Phoenix Wright at age
pearls.
18... What?
He loves Pearls. She's a child.
Yeah.
He's great with her.
Wait, I think we got our wires crossed here. I think Des was saying that the game isn't comfortable with children, not Phoenix Wright himself.
Oh, I was going to be like,
yeah, no,
Phoenix is great with children. I'm actually ready to throw down.
The game itself.
The game itself
has occasionally had some issues with younger teens.
So, you're like, oh, there's no way Phoenix Wright had a kid when he was 18 years old. But also, there's like 3 people who were hitting on a 16-year-old at one point. So, who can you trust?
No one.
Trust
no one.
I'm hoping that she's adopted. Thing number 2, I love The Office. Because I love magician aesthetics and shit like that. I love Showtime and shit like that. So, like, I don't know. I think Trucy's really cute. She's like a cool sidekick.
She's really great, honestly. I do. I'm pro Trucy. I think she's a great assistant character, who's following you around, got good commentary, good bits with her. And it's fun to see the Wright's office in like a whole different light. And Charlie is still trucking away in the background there. Trucy's been making sure that he gets watered.
Mr. Charlie.
She's taking care of her sibling.
Yes. I know that. Plant's as old as her. Yeah.
So we have to investigate the car accident that Phoenix was in. Is he also the one that gets us on to help Mr. Eldoon? Yes.
Then when we come back to the Wright agency, to the talent agency, there we meet Guy Eldoon, who runs Eldoon's Noodles, a noodle cart that kind of travels around the area and does the saltiest noodles known to man. And Phoenix and Trucy, visit there quite a bit. Phoenix is a regular, so of course Eldoon comes to you guys to ask for help with his missing noodle cart. And then we get one last third, like, little mini case here at the start, which is that Trucy says that somebody has stolen her panties. She tried to chase after the pervert, but lost sight of him as he got away. And so everybody lays these problems at Apollo's feet and says, figure this out.
Apollo goes on to say several times, I'm not a detective, I'm an attorney. And they go, do some investigating.
Hit the pavement, boy.
I have to say the realism of feeling deeply frustrated in Apollo's shoes really does hit super hard.
I immediately connect with Apollo.
Yeah. I mean, his inner monologue is also, I found, very funny, and some of his dialogue is very good because he's immediately given some very striking differences from Phoenix, right? Whereas Phoenix is when you were playing as Phoenix, you have a little bit of this hapless, like, I guess I gotta go along with this. And it's not like you don't go along with things as Apollo, but it feels way more like you're dragged along as Apollo, because he's just like, no, absolutely not.
This man actually did go to law school, and he did pass the bar to become a lawyer, not because he was chasing some stupid boy. Like, he's actually here to legislate.
He's always biting back, kind of, at, like, everybody. And everyone just goes, all right, do it anyway. Apollo's just like, all right, so the biting isn't working. It's
like a very small dog with, like, very baby teeth trying to snap at somebody, and they're just like, seriously.
I love Apollo. I still think he's supposed to be, like, kind of like a rabbit, because whenever he gets that, like, shocked face and his two front hair, like, goes forward, he looks like he's a little rabbit.
Mm-hmm. So then you start investigating. So the first place generally that you head to I believe, is the Kataki Mansion, because that's where Phoenix was hit, just outside this mansion. And you discover that this mansion belongs to the Kataki family, which is a organized crime. It's the mob. And you meet Little Plum Kataki, who is the matriarch of the family. And she is awesome.
She
honestly.
fucking
I think
rules.
she's fucking great.
Yo,
Queen.
straight up, she can get it. All right, I love her.
She's happily
She's
married.
got really good animations.
She's great. I love her.
She has a sword in her broom.
Fucking fantastic. Absolutely
And
superb.
she messes with the kids the whole time. She messes with both Apollo and Trucy in different ways. Because Trucy is like, "Oh, I want to know everything about the mob. Tell me everything." And Apollo is like, "Trucy, shut the fuck up, please. It's Shut the Fuck Up Friday. You don't talk to the mob."
And the mob's like, "I love to talk, actually."
Yeah. And Little Plum, she's like, "Oh, that's great. I'll tell you everything." And so she also mentions that a pair of her panties got stolen as well. And the listener, if you are hearing me say, like, panties getting stolen, and you're like, "Huh, that feels a little weird. What's going on here?"
It did feel
Don't worry.
a little weird.
You are supposed to feel like this at first, because there's a bit coming.
I still feel a little weird.
Yes, but
I saw
there's
the
a
bit,
joke.
but I still don't love it.
There's a joke coming here.
The joke is coming, but also, like, can I be honest? I kind of wish the joke wasn't there.
Yeah.
This bit, it works like once, and then it keeps getting referenced, and I'm like, oh god, Jesus.
Yeah, they do keep doing it. So we're almost there. So then they get to People Park, which is right across from the Kataki Mansion.
People Park.
I know, it's very funny.
It's a park made of people.
I spent several minutes just laughing alone in my room every time I saw the words People Park. I saw it on the map. The further you get a little map, and Phoenix is like, "Here's where I was hit by the car. Go check that out for me." And you're like, "Fuck you." And you go. It may become clear throughout the course of this episode. Getting a little sick of your shit, Mr. Wright. Oh, kind of tired of him already.
He's really playing coy here with everything.
Yeah, but he's like, go do that. And I saw the little thing that said People Park, and I was like, no, you can't. And it's People Park. There's a sign. It says People Park. No dogs. People.
It's for the people. People
Yeah.
Park.
At People
it.
Park, then you find that there was a murder that happened in the park. And at first you're not able to get in, but eventually you, after poking around for a little bit, you find that, hey, that's where the noodle cart was. And there was a doctor who was pulling the cart and was killed basically standing up while, it's one of those pull cart type things. So he's kind of like hunched over the bar where you would pull the cart in the front. And he was shot by the son of the family, of the Kataki family. Supposedly, yes. That's who was accused of murder. Walkie Kataki.
Walkie Kataki's name is borderline. I don't know if is it uncomfortable? Am I overreading?
I think it's just a walkie-talkie joke.
Yeah.
I think that's all it is.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah.
Because I also talked to Iro about this when we were on stream, and I was like, we were like brainstorming what else is this joke aside from just walkie-talkie, and we couldn't think of anything else that's what it is.
Yeah,
I was pretty
honestly,
sure that's what it was. Yeah.
Worse than his name is the way he talks, because it's very 2000s era. What people imagine a gangster talks like.
I mean, on the other
G.
hand, like that works for his character.
Well, yes, exactly. He's not really a gangster. He thinks he's a cool G, and he keeps calling himself a G. So we're doing that whole bit here. But he is he's actually kind of a weenie, really. But he likes to act tough. So all these mysteries are getting kind of mixed together here. And so obviously they are actually all incredibly related, and they are not separate incidences at all. So you start to you eventually come back to your agency after poking around for the smaller mysteries for a little bit, and there you meet Alita Tiala, who is the fiancée of Walkie. And so she says to you, "Hey, I'd like you to represent, my fiancé in court and prove him innocent." So she, Apollo is like, "Oh boy, finally I get to do my job. I will jump for you, and then let's do this." And so now that you officially are the attorney for Milwaukee, you get to head back into People Park and start investigating. A couple things that we notice around People Park. One, in the outside of People Park, there's an old lady who's trying to get in.
I love her.
Wendy,
she's trying to climb up over.
Wendy.
Yeah, it's not explicitly said to be Wendy, but
I kind of feel it though.
It's got to be Wendy.
I know it's her. I miss her. I love her.
Queen. Just so we establish another location that exists in this map, there's People Park. There's the Kentucky Mansion across from People Park, and then there is the Maractus Clinic, which is the doctor which is where the doctor works, and the Maractus Clinic is also right next to El Dune's house. Weird.
Yes.
And El Dune house is around the corner from the right agency. Literally everything that took place here took place within like 2 blocks.
Yeah. This is like a Yakuza game style mission, right?
Yeah.
This is what this is.
I just imagine looking at the little minimap and seeing the like little Shin Megami Tensei circle diamond and be like, move around to People Park and stuff, all that. So like, let's see. Yeah, there's Wendy's old back. Do we get to meet the prosecutor today? I think we do, right?
Yes, you do get to meet the prosecutor. So as you are about to enter the park to do some investigation, you see a guy who is addressed as Mr. Gavin. And you see a bunch of people getting all excited, and there's a motorcycle there. And Christoph Gavin, the prosecutor for the case, is there, and he says hello. He greets you both, and then rides away on his motorcycle. He is the younger brother of Clavier Gavin, Apollo's mentor, who was just put away into prison.
I'm so sorry. You got them backwards.
Oh shit, I got him backwards.
It's okay.
Christoph is the one that got arrested. Clavier is
Clavier is the one
the
on
motorcycle himbo. See, I thought that he was the prosecutor. I thought Christoph was the No.
Last episode, I had to keep my mouth
they
shut.
Are
I wanted to say something so bad.
I'm
wait.
thrilled.
Is Clavier older or younger?
Younger.
Clavier's younger. Yeah.
Clavier is younger.
He's
the Luigi.
23, 24,
yes.
I think. I checked the thing.
They later reveal that he also did went to Europe and got his prosecutor's badge at 18. And Phoenix is like, they're very progressive over there. Such a funny bit.
So, just quick Clavier Gavin review. Love him.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
I think he's super cool. I love his animations. He's just rad. Like, I can't hate him because he's so fucking radical.
He's got like a purple jacket. He's got chain. He's got like an open button, on his collar kind of thing. And he's got similar hair to Christoph. And but he's like,
he's friendly.
He's like the younger. He's a little friendlier. He's a rock star. He performs in a band, but also he does prosecuting on the side.
I like him.
I love him.
I met him and I was like, oh great, and he immediately started hitting on Trucy, and I was like, she's 15, you son of a bitch.
I know.
And then,
we still can't get away from it.
And then he was like, oh, Apollo, hello, I've never felt this way about a man before. And I was like, okay, you're just gonna hit on everybody, huh? All right. Okay, she's 15.
I interpreted that scene as just like someone complaining of like a what's that word when you complacent?
Complacent.
He was just being nice to a fan, is what I was interpreting.
I think you're thinking of placate.
Placate. There it is.
Yes.
I thought he was just placating a fan when he was speaking like that, because like overall his overall persona seems to be that he's he kind of has a similarity with Christoph, in which that he's overtly nice to everybody, even his own enemies. But whereas Christoph was all poetry, Clavier is a rock star. So like that's why he's acting. That's my personal. God, I hope this isn't gross interpretation.
I'll see if I can incorporate that into my belief system, because I do need everybody to stop hitting on Trucy.
I know.
Now.
Yeah.
No more.
I'm really trying to interpret it as like, oh, look at you, little girl. You're cool, I guess.
Isn't it funny how you think I'm cool, that I'm a rock star or whatever kind of thing?
I hope so.
Look at my shiny guitar. It's so shiny.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So
go with that.
The alternative is way too much for our hearts to handle.
Listen, full disclosure, I have been a 15, 16-year-old girl in a funny outfit at an anime convention getting harassed by older men, so like,
right.
It fucking sucks.
Cons are so much better than they used to be. It's truly amazing. Like, the whole cosplay is not consent movement has done a great deal. It's near and dear to my heart. But like, she's 15. Don't fucking talk to her. I'll kill all of you. I guess so. Yeah.
So after you get, that's your little like first glimpse of Clavier, and then you get into the park proper, and you get to start to investigate the cart here, and you meet Emma Skye. Now, was everybody excited to see her again? Because I remember when the first time I played this game, I was very excited to see her now as a detective.
I'm a little upset that she didn't get like Chief Detective Big Gun badge. Like,
right.
She should be at the head of the fucking thing. I worked so goddamn hard during that case to get her free. And I don't recall having her having like a sunflower seed habit. She picked that up, I guess. This is
a new habit. They got to give her some new animations, and they are actually snackoos, is what she calls them.
What the hell is a snackoo?
I respect her just munching snacks on the job. That animation's a little too long.
That's my issue with it, is that it has the old Ace Attorney animation too long, can't skip it.
Mm-hmm.
These are actually they're like a chocolate dusted kind of snack food is actually what they are.
You know what? Okay. I bet the reason they're chocolate dusted is the fact that she gives them to criminals and then secretly takes their fingerprints off the chocolate dust.
Cops can do that.
Cops can do that.
The actual original thing, like that's what they are localized, but the actual original thing that they are in Japanese is karinto. Which is a Japanese snack food. I'm reading from Wikipedia here. Sweet and deep fried, primarily made of flour, yeast, and brown sugar. Has a deep brown and pitted appearance. Takes the form of a bite-sized pillow or short cylinder. So,
she's just eating fucking fried dough.
Basically, is what it is. I'll put a picture of it in the chat here so you can take a look at it. And viewers at home, you can go ahead and Google it. But the reason why it's popular, but because it's tasty, but also it has a little bit of a reputation. If you Google pictures of this, it does kind of look like little dog poos. Like it looks like, I don't know, if you would like almost like cheese curls, but if they were brown, kind of thing.
Yeah, these look like the like short Cheetos.
Yeah, like short cheese puffs, but obviously they are not cheese in any way. These are brown and cinnamon dough kind of things. So anyway, it's just that's what she's got, a big bag of those, and she's munching away on the job, and it's a very funny bit, and she's got her like munching sound effect that plays the whole time. And I don't know if you did this or not, but you can mash through it, and so she'll munch faster then.
Yes, I did mash through it.
I did that as well. I spent a lot of time mashing in this game.
Yeah, no.
We're gonna get to Rose's saga of suffering here later.
So far in this case, there are two different characters who have long animations that I won't skip. There is Emma Skye's munching, and then there's Mr. Eldune's. He has a harmonica around his neck.
Yeah.
And he like plays his little like streetcar theme, which I imagine is like, when you hear that, you're supposed to know that the ramen cart is nearby instead of like the ice cream truck. It's like the ramen cart.
Right.
So there's two animations that I thought to myself, gee whiz, I wish I could hit A right now. I I love seeing Emma Skye. She's a detective now. She doesn't have the surprised face badge anymore, which makes me think that back during case 1-5, Emma Skye gave the badge to Phoenix, and then he held on to it this entire time. And then he said, well, now that I'm unemployed and a father, I'll put it on my Papa beanie. And, I love Emma Skye. She helps us do some forensic shit. Thank God.
I liked doing the forensic I mentioned how much I liked that in 1-5, and I liked it here too. Although, boy, they really love their 3D render turnarounds. Like there was a lot of kind of unnecessary blocky 3D render turnarounds in this case.
Well, yeah, with how positional things get in the court segment, then I guess they wanted to really make sure it was clear to everybody where people were standing and where the cart was in 3D.
I was like, but I got it from the overhead map, but okay. Here we go for the third or fourth time.
We should get to the court segment real quick here, but right before you do, after you've started getting your various details with, you do a little forensics with Emma, you get fingerprints off of the knife and confirm that, it was indeed Walkie who held this knife.
Yeah, Walkie had a knife at the murder scene, not a gun.
Exactly.
And who shot him?
And then you also find a pair of panties in the trash can, which are the Little Plums, the Kataki matriarchs, the pair that was missing. And you then get the first part of this joke, which is they are not panties in the way you might be thinking of them. They are big cartoon bloomers. They're
like pantaloons.
Yeah, they're just big goofy cartoon pantaloons.
Thank God they're both big.
Yeah,
both of them.
This is also when you finally get the chance to go over to the Maractus clinic as well and investigate the garage, because also here you have found the mirror of the car that hit Phoenix, and you are able to track it back to the Maractus clinic and where this mirror, their side view mirror, fell off. And there you find a cell phone on the ground, which you pick up. And then in the exhaust of the car, you find Trucy's panties, her magic panties specifically, part of her act, which are, again, bright blue with pink polka dot pantaloons, cartoonishly large, that she uses to pull, items out of, pull a rabbit out of a hat kind of thing. But she's doing it with these big goofy pantaloons.
It's a tire out of the pantaloons. So
that's the joke here, is that the whole time the player is supposed to have been imagining something much worse, and in the end, just kidding. It's very cartoonish and it's very silly,
Okay, hang on. Ben, I accidentally at some point pressed the pause button when I was recording. So there's a chunk of stuff missing from my recording.
Okay.
So I figured it out and unpaused it, but I'll probably have to use some audio from maybe 5 minutes of somebody else's stream.
Okay, well I can. That's why I have the backup. Have you started recording again?
Yes.
Okay, I should be able to line it up.
I don't know what the heck happened, but it paused, and I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure how long it was.
We could clap again, maybe.
Yeah, you guys want to clap? Oh,
yeah, we can do a second clap, because then we can make sure it's lined up.
Love that.
So time.is. All right, but you saved the earlier recording already.
No, it's still there.
Oh, it's still there. Paused. It's just paused. Okay, so
it's still there at some point.
So I will have to break the file and put a gap in there. Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, at some point in 24 minutes or something like that, I must have hit a button that paused my recording, but then I just started it up again.
Okay, all right. You have time.is open?
I do now.
Okay. Then let's clap on, well, I was going to say on the 55, but I guess let's clap on the top.
Let's do.
All right, and let's do it at 5.
Okay.
Right. We got it then? All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Yes.
That should fix it. So, Tiago, you were about to say something, right?
I was. This is going to be the part where we cut back in from the weird intermission music. I assume you're gonna put it in. I don't know. Whatever.
Well, I'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. So you gather a lot of this evidence from like there's a trash can at the front of People Park which contains both the broken side view mirror from the car that hit Phoenix and a pair of slippers from the Miraculous Clinic. So you're already supposed to get suspicion of the Miraculous Clinic. And then once you once you go inside the park, there's another trash can which contains little plum bloomers.
Mm-hmm.
You trace the broken side view mirror to the garage in the Miraculous Clinic, and there's a green car there. So the side view mirror that you found in the trash can matches the car. Apollo says to himself, "Man, Phoenix Wright was a great inspiration. I remember one time he had a case where he found something in the exhaust pipe. Isn't that crazy?" And then he stuck his hand in the exhaust pipe like a Silent Hill protagonist.
Yeah.
And
Oh my god, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
and he fucking pulls out a pair of pantaloons, and Tracy goes, "My magic panties! I pulled horses from that." And it's like, wait, what? Why would you do that? Why not just use a fucking hat? And you have a silk top hat. And Tracy's like, you gotta innovate. You gotta bring people what they want, something new.
Besides, that hat's in use.
The hat's in use. It is. That's fair. You don't get the option to examine the clinic proper on the first day, and you don't even get a chance to really talk to your client. Like, straight up.
Did anybody
Yeah.
did anybody get the doctor's pun, the name?
Maractus? Isn't it supposed to be like a miracle?
No, it's Pal Maractus. It's malpractice.
I assumed it was
Rancho,
something backwards, like Mr. L. Noodles.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
I was
Malpractice.
I looked at it and I was like, well, I'll get to that later.
I thought it was supposed to be like a mispronunciation of the word miracle, but yeah,
There's also a Pokemon called Maractus, and that's what I was thinking.
I can't. Oh, you mean the cactus Pokemon?
Mhm.
Oh, cute.
Not Cacnea or Cacturn, but that little random
It's from Gen 5.
one stage cactus.
So yeah, you finally go to the
anyway.
detention center then, and you get to talk to Walkie for one short conversation before the end of the day, and he says to you, "I did it. I killed him. I'm a straight up G, and I did that doctor in, and I don't care if they put me away in prison because a real gangster's got to do time." And you're like, great, I love it.
You stupid cat boy.
He's a fox boy.
Yeah, he's a kitsune type thing, right?
He's got
He's a
little.
kitsune.
He's very Italian, as we all know. All gangsters.
Yes, he's
He
definitely
is
Italian and
yeah.
not Yakuza.
He is supposed to be a fox.
All of the gangsters are just Italian Yakuza members for
I-
some reason in this game.
I love the back of his jacket. The back of his jacket has like a fox head and two crossbones underneath it. It's
Mhm.
sick.
Also, do you like his
hair
shirt
is
on the
spo-
front?
His hair is supposed to be.
He-
His hair is the two ears, and then the big poof in front is supposed to be the tail.
Yeah, his hair is stupid.
I love his hair.
Yeah,
it's so
but I'm
cute.
with Des actually. I'm loving the character designs so far. I've been
it's
wild
very
about all of them.
Here's the thing: it's very cute,
Yeah.
but like no actual human would actually have that.
I mean, we could say that about a lot of
Have
characters
you watched
in these
fucking
games.
It's
Yu-Gi-Oh?
fair,
Have
yeah.
you
We got
played
anime
the
character
other
design
games?
going on here.
Have you seen Phoenix's hair?
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
listen, that's like an exaggeration of what could exist, like someone putting their hair back. Just like
I'm just-
it doesn't matter. What's
Yeah,
up?
no, all I was going to say is his shirt that he's wearing on the front is the blue badger, but with sunglasses and a goatee.
Yeah, like an evil blue badger.
It was-
Yeah, it's like
it was-
evil blue badger. It's so good.
It's giving me that really, the one T-shirt where it's like a world is a fuck, like
Yeah.
30,000 billion dead cops, and I was like,
yeah.
but just with the blue badger instead. Like I said, wild about all these character designs so far. My favorite part of the game has definitely been every character design I've seen.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the new character designer is really fucking kicking it up a notch.
Knocking it out of the fucking park.
So then you have to start your first court case without a mentor.
Yep.
Except
Trucy's with you, though.
Trucy's well, you gotta have a sidekick. Every
Yeah.
defense attorney is allowed one sidekick.
Although,
Nope.
like, at this point, I was again feeling a little Apollo frustration. I was like, Trucy, are you running this case? Like, Let me talk, girl. You're cute, but like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah,
Well, see, here's the thing. Apollo got hired by Wright and... Well, it's not Wright & Co. anymore. It's just Wright Anything Agency. So technically, would that make Trucy and Phoenix's ball?
I mean, that's true, but also, like, let me solve the puzzle.
Yeah.
Girl, please.
It's a little like, it's supposed to imply that Trucy is in some way your superior, because you start noticing that, like, even though she's this, like, goofy magician, she's actually pretty fucking keen. Like, she, like, picked up on a lot of shit that I was just like, yeah, I picked up on that too, but I guess if I was a teenager who didn't pick up on it, I'd appreciate you. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff where, like, Trucy says some shit, and I was like, yeah, I fucking get it, Trucy. But, like, I also recognize that if I was a teenager playing this game, I'd be like, what do you mean the car is the same car, you know?
Yeah, maybe they feel since it's the second case, they still got to have some guardrails up for you to help you out a little bit. But yeah, so you get into the first court segment, and you get to see Clavier there on the stand, or at the prosecutor's bench with you, and he announces that the first witness who's going to actually be testifying will be Walkie himself. And Walkie testifies why he did it. And so he drops a bunch of knowledge, as he says, that he got shot during a tiff with the Revalis crime family, and the bullet he got shot. It came close to hitting his heart, but as he was bleeding out, he got taken to Palmaractus, the kind of underground doctor, to get the bullet removed, and he found out that he had not actually he had done nothing about it. He had not actually helped him out.
He didn't take
the bullet out. And so Walkie believed that this was because Palmaractus was an incompetent doctor, right? That he was like, he was bad at his job, and so he just covered it up. And so now I'm going to teach him what for. And so that's why he tracked him down then and shot him, is what he's claiming. Gavin Clavier then says, like, guess what, buddy? I've got some medical documentation here for you, and you should take a look at this. And so he drops this bombshell in the middle of court for Walkie, which is that the bullet, yes, is indeed still in his heart, but also it's so dangerously close that he's basically the walking dead.
Yeah, like, he will die soon. Like,
yes.
This week or something. Like, it's a miracle that he's straight up still talking like a G.
And yes, and so he basically, the reason Clavier brings this up is to show that, Maractus knew and was indeed covering it up, because these are documents from Maractus's clinic.
Yes. And
then we get the witness.
Right before we go on to the witness, because I fucking hate him.
Understandable.
I want to talk about Clavier's animations in the courtroom segment. It's sick. He has this air guitar thing he does.
It's so good.
He's first of all, he's left-handed. I assume he's either left-handed or ambidextrous. Because I saw the second he started wailing on that air guitar, I was like, oh my god, what a hero. I can almost hear the song.
His animations are so cute. I like when he hits the wall behind him, too. Like, a lot of really cute animations for this man.
That's the other thing I want to talk about.
Nice physicality to it, yeah.
Yeah, he physically, like, he interacts with the scene. He punches the back wall, and I'm like, oh my god, it's real. As opposed to just, like, a prop behind the...
A big cardboard prop.
I know, it's opposed to a big cardboard prop.
Speaking of his air guitar, I feel like now might be a good time to bring up that, we get, like, a rock song, like the first one ever in Ace Attorney here. Like, that's, like, a totally different genre. We just get, like, a whole rock song in here called Guilty Love.
Oh, sick, bro.
And in Japanese, it's called Love, Love, Guilty.
Yeah!
And so this is composed by the composer of the series, who did all the other music, of this game, I should say, because this is Toshihiko Horiyama. Mm-hmm. He only did Apollo Justice, and then later he did some other work on some of the other Ace Attorney games, but I believe this is the only Ace Attorney game that he composed music for. But you would probably also know him from some other games that he composed, such as Mega Man X.
Oh, I got really excited.
Mega Man and Bass.
Okay.
Mega Man Battle Network 4.
Oh, I actually do really like Mega Man Battle Network 4 soundtrack.
So he Mega Man. I'm looking at his list here. Mega Man Powered Up as well.
That one could be left alone.
So, he also did work on one of the later Ace Attorney games, Spirit of Justice, as well. He did music and sound effects for that, and he was sound director on Dual Destinies. So I don't know how much involvement he had in composing, but he was sound director there. So all that to say, he's been a mainstay of Capcom for a long time. And so he wrote a blog post about how he came up with this rock song, because originally he wrote a J-pop song for this bit and played it for Shu Takumi, and he was like, no, this is all wrong. This sounds like J-pop. I reject it. I do not want this. I want a rock song. So Horiyama was having a little bit of a tough time coming up with this song. So here's what he writes about how the song came to him in a dream. Again, this is a blog post that he wrote on the Capcom blog, and is again translated by Ash at Gyakuten Cyber and Library. Thank you so much for translating these. It's a huge help. So he wrote, I had a curious dream. I was waiting for the bus at a bus stop I didn't recognize. A woman arrived there. She was going to be taking the same bus. The moment I laid eyes on her, I knew it. She was exactly my type. Eventually, the bus arrived, and both the woman and I got on, and we sat down next to each other. I'm going to abbreviate a little bit here because it's quite a long post. And I said to her, I wonder where the bus is headed. You don't know, and you still got on? This bus, is heading towards the tonkatsu restaurant. Oh,
hell yeah.
Tonkatsu restaurant. I'm a big fan of tonkatsu. I'm actually more in the mood for spaghetti carbonara, she says. This was a dream, so things got a bit random.
I want some fucking tonkatsu now.
Yeah, so he says that he and the woman then entered the restaurant for tonkatsu. They sat down at the exact same table as if it was very natural, and they got all their food. And he says everyone started making their orders, from loin tonkatsu sets to top grade pork fillet tonkatsu sets. As this was a dream, I might as well have gone for the top grade set, but for some reason, I ordered a regular pork fillet tonkatsu set.
Even in your dreams, you don't have enough money to afford the good shit.
And so then the woman says to me, you're having trouble composing the song for clavier, right? Yeah. And he goes, yeah, I can't figure out how to capture the heart of Takushu, Shutakumi's nickname. And she says, let me show you. As we were talking, a waiter arrived at our table. At first, I thought our food was already ready, but the waiter did not place my pork fillet tonkatsu set on the table, but instead, a computer and a MIDI sound source and other items.
Holy shit.
This was a dream, so things got a bit nonsensical. The woman started setting up the equipment in a custom manner. She then started to tinker with the equipment, and she started composing the song. As I stared at her, I felt I could really fall in love with her. After a while, she spoke up again. The song is ready. Give it a try. And it was the hard rock piece.
Oh my God.
And then she says, it's about time for me to leave. Where to? My husband is waiting for me.
No.
The woman was married, so it wasn't a good idea for me to fall in love with her. But still, I was overcome with a fluttery feeling as I woke up from my dream. The following day, I started working on Clavier's theme song. The vague memories of my dream were still in my head. I came up with the hard rock piece exactly like the song the woman had composed. When I was done, I presented the song to Takushu once again, and his reaction was as follows. I think we can go with this.
Oh my God.
Man. That's a beautiful dream.
It's so elaborate. It's so funny that I love these goofy blog posts when they just go into every little possible detail about how they came up with stuff. Sometimes they are frustratingly vague about how they came up with something. And they just say, oh, we went with this. It's like, well, how? Why did you decide to go with that, element for this game? And then other times they will spend an entire blog post on how they came up with one song.
I like this almost as much as the Weedy lunch story.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good
that
one.
one's still also really good.
That's the best one.
This reminds me of the, have you guys ever thought about, like, diffuse thinking and versus focused thinking, which is, like, a way to express creativity is that you want to enter, like, a dreamlike state? I remember, the reason I learned about this recently is because of, I was researching some ways to learn better, and the thing that Thomas Edison used to do is that he used to have an iron ball in his hand so that when he was about to fall asleep, he would drop the ball and wake up, but he'd be still kind of loosey-goosey. And then he would write down all the ideas that he had while in this like dreamlike state.
All his
and
ideas
continue
to steal other people's inventions.
Yeah, exactly.
I was about to say, is this a real story or is this like a folk
this
tale?
is real. This is
okay.
He actually did have iron balls in his hand that like he would drop. So like Salvador Dali had something very similar in which that I believe he had a watch that he would hold in his hand, and while he was about to sleep, the watch would drop to the ground. He would wake up and start to paint, and then when he felt tired, he would do the same thing.
Yeah.
That second story may not be completely true, but the first one is.
I actually am interested in Dali and have been to the Dali Museum, and he did used to keep a canvas next to his bed, and he would wake up and try and paint his dreams before he forgot them. Mm-hmm. That was like part of the surrealist, like
That's basically like a dream journal, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That was a big part of like the surrealist like thesis was like, you know, try and
he ruined my dream.
Yeah, try and paint your weird dreams.
Mr. Electric, he ruined my dream journal. Oh God, that's a journal. Deep. We gotta. All right.
Okay,
so what
we
I'm
have
saying
to keep
is that,
going.
Yeah,
here's the thing.
The music composer is a surrealist, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So here's the thing. We're still on the first day of court.
Yeah, we need to keep moving because I have some complaints to lodge with the department.
Yeah, let's skip through. Let's hop, skip, and a jump through Stickler because honestly, there's not a huge.
It's him. He stole
there's not a lot
the
to
panty
go
snatcher.
over.
It's him.
So yes, we meet a college student, Wesley Stickler.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
He's a panty snatcher. It's revealed because he claims to have witnessed the killing, but then we start to establish that like there's some inconsistencies with his accounting of the situation and the way that the body ended up. Because Stickler claims that he yelled at the victim, Pal Maractus, and said, "Stop!" And when Pal Maractus turned his head and looked at them, that was when he got shot. However, as we can see from the autopsy report, he got shot on the other side of his head, so he should have been facing the opposite direction.
Yes.
So we need to reconcile these two differences. Was Stickler actually on the opposite side of the park? So that would flip things horizontally and thus make things make sense. Or did something else? Did he get shot somewhere else? What happened here? So that is kind of where we get to right near the end. But the thing is, we can't quite get there without a little bit of help. And so this is probably the most important thing to mention here at the end is that just when it seems like things are over and you can't prove it at the very last bit, Trucy all of a sudden is held at gunpoint by a mysterious assailant. Not gunpoint, excuse me, knife point.
Knife point, yeah.
She's held at knife point by him.
Weapon point.
There's like a mysterious shadowy figure in a top hat who holds her at knife point and says, you'll let them, continue or else, take a recess real quick.
The second time a killer has taken control of this court.
Yeah. And so everybody's like, oh my God, okay. And Clavier just kind of smirks and's like, yeah, let them take their recess. And everybody's like, okay. The judge is all freaked out. You go to recess and you meet Trucy, and she's like, oh, hey, how you doing? And you're like, what happened, Trucy? And she reveals her good friend, the amazing Mr. Hat, which is an elaborate wooden puppet that pops out of her back, essentially. It appears out of nowhere from her cloak,
She has the fucking puppet from Naruto, where, you can replace your body with it.
Yeah.
And, she's actually a fucking ninja. So she takes control of this court. She does this in order to, stall for time, which, okay, I get it. Fucking Maya did it before, too, just by screaming in the courtroom. Maya just screamed and was everyone was like, alright, dude, everyone chill. Let's just take a recess. And, and then Maya's just not allowed back into the room for the second half, and Phoenix is like, yeah, that's fair. Trucy staged a knife assault, in court, in broad daylight. It's 2 p.m.
It's too early in the day for this.
No, here's the thing that fucks you up. How did no one see this? How did no one see a fucking puppet appear from Trucy's back and put a knife to her neck?
She's a magician.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was cut kind of weird. It just like went to a like JPEG, and I was like, huh.
Yeah, we're in the knife scene now. Yeah. So yeah, Trucy stages this, and then Apollo goes into his mind palace and remembers Phoenix going like, "Hey, listen, as long as you got Trucy by your side, you can complete any court case." And he like gives you like the All Might smile, and then you come back and it's like, "Oh yeah, Trucy's a criminal. That's what you meant."
Trucy's willing to do fucking anything.
Trucy will kill.
Yeah. So, yes, you get to go back in, and you go back to Stickler's testimony, and now you finally get to activate your perception powers, your bracelet,
Your bracelet.
kind of
Dear listener.
with energy.
Dear listener, what bracelet, you may ask? What the fuck are they talking about? No explanation.
He's had this golden bracelet the entire time.
Never noticed it. No attention brought to it.
That's
nothing.
the issue, is that exactly. He never goes like in the first case. He was like, as long as I've got my lucky bracelet.
Yeah, that would be it.
Anything.
That would be fine.
That would be fine. But it turns out that like all of a sudden his bracelet starts vibrating, and then he gets the Sharingan.
Just my bracelet's magic all of a sudden. What the fuck? Come on,
It's like he has these abilities, or like the bracelet magnifies them. It's not explicitly clear yet, but originally
so unclear.
Originally, his character design just had a wristwatch on his arm, because they were like, man, his arm feels kind of bare when he's objecting. So they put a wristwatch on it, and then eventually it changed into this bracelet once they fully developed this game mechanic. And so I guess then they were like, well, we're going to link these things together. But yes, it is the game acts as if it's not necessarily the bracelet. It's like it's Apollo's perceptiveness is just preternaturally good, I guess. And then the bracelet just is also like sort of like it vibrates, when he's able to perceive.
Why?
And it's like doom doom.
Why? What the like Tiago said, if he had at any moment just been like, well, I've got my lucky bracelet, or like something, anything. I think Apollo is so cute. I like him a lot. What the what?
Here's my thing, is that
Come on, dude.
If we were going to rationalize this in the world of reality, I would imagine that what's actually happening is that Phoenix is microdosing Apollo.
Okay, that's fine. I would accept that.
There are fucking ghosts in this world.
Yeah.
Exactly, but there are ghosts in this world.
They don't gotta explain
exactly.
shit.
So like,
I knew how the ghosts worked. The Magatama. I knew how that worked. I received it. I had information. It was awesome.
Right.
So
I had context for it, and I knew how it worked.
Here's another thing that I'm afraid that like I can already see happening on the horizon, is that Apollo's gonna get to like near the end game, and then he's gonna go, I didn't need my bracelet. The ability was inside me all along, and the bracelet's just like a fucking like a like, it doesn't really matter.
We just needed a button like design to press. Like just make it a big scary eyeball. I don't.
So like,
not acceptable reasoning here.
Phoenix Wright got the Magatama from Pearls. God bless Pearls, greatest sidekick so far. Still #1 sidekick. I'm not gonna lie. Fuck Maya. I'm kidding.
Wow, Pearls wouldn't appreciate you saying that.
I don't know. Pearls would kill me. She would drop kick me, and all my ribs would be broken. So like, Stickler, his whole thing is that like, oh, the reason I wanted to steal the panties is because I saw the magic trick once, and I wanted to understand how it worked as an academic. And everyone just goes, yeah, okay, I guess. Like, dude, come on, man.
Right. He's like, oh, I need to understand the mysteries of the universe. And it's just a bunch of it's just a way for a bunch of jokes to be fed to you about him saying panties in increasingly bizarre contexts and acting like he's a weird pervert, but not really. He's actually looking at it for educational purposes. No. And it's like, no, come on.
What happened was that a censor showed up and was like, all right, guys, you can't make him a pervert. And I was like, oh, all right, fine, we'll make him an academic. That's worse. So like,
the actual like mechanic, right, of examining him as he's testifying is during certain statements, you have to figure out which statement is the most suspicious, quote unquote. Then and which one, and often there will be an animation playing that is kind of like the key animation. You press the bracelet button on the lower screen, and then you zoom in into this like eyeball mode where you're zoomed in on his sprite, and you can move it around, and the statement will highlight certain segments, and during certain segments of the statement that's highlighted, like say the first part of his statement or the middle or the last part, when it's highlighted, he will do certain animations, and he will do an animation or not, I guess I should say. It's an on or an off state, essentially.
Or not.
Yeah. When he does the animation, you have to find out where it is on his body. So in this case here, it's his finger kind of playing with the corner of the book that he's holding. He has this big tome, and he flicks around the corner of the page. So you have to zoom in on that, and when he's making the statement where he fiddles with that, you press, gotcha. And then you basically yell at him about it, and you say, I noticed you playing with that book corner a whole bunch. You seem really nervous. How nervous are you? Are you pretty nervous, buddy? And then he breaks down. And then you have to present a piece of evidence as well, following up, because, the court's not going to believe you just yelling at him about the corner of him fiddling with this book. Yeah. You got to present a piece of evidence then as well, and back that up.
I wish they would have just been like him talking to himself about that. Like, that's kind of weird. Maybe I should do something about that. Maybe I should like bring that up in a less obnoxiously straightforward way.
But yes, you just say it. You're like, you're playing with the corner of the book there, weird, aren't ya?
That means you're lying.
So like, it's supposed to be Apollo being able to read the tells of the person on the stand.
Yes.
And it's presented in a way that like, he just straight up calls the person out on the tells, or it's like, hey, motherfucker, what's up with you folding the pages of that book? And then Stickler's like, and then everyone else in the courtroom was like, hey, Apollo, Jesus, take it easy. That's the thing, though. I think that's the strangest way about how this ability could have been presented, as opposed to it being internal dialogue, of,
right.
like Death said. It's presented in a way where he's forceful about that information. Imagine you're at a poker table and you like sniffle when you have a good hand, and someone jumps on the table, points at you, and goes, "Why are you sniffling, idiot?" Like, obviously that's gonna ruin. First of all, if that happened to me, I would just be sure not to do that further anymore, right? I would stop playing with the book. I would put the book down if someone ever called me out on that. So that's a trick that would work once in reality.
Yeah.
I think here's the most damning thing about Stickler, is that if it wasn't for the weird panty snatching thing, I actually think he's interesting as a witness, because he's just such a fucking weirdo. And I'm okay, like, I do think that Ace Attorney witnesses should be fucking weirdos. Like, that's where I think the character work should be in. But he's damned by this mid-2000s plot.
I like how we said we weren't going to talk about him at all.
I know, I did.
I had to get it out.
To just get mainly to the gameplay bit, because I wanted to establish
talking about the tell.
Okay. Since that's system. that's the Magatama of this game is this aspect in the courtroom is Apollo being able to zoom in on their sprites and see their tells during certain statements, and then you drag that out into the open. But yes, maybe we'll have to see. I don't recall, honestly, like dead up. I do not remember how if he like grows into it and is a little bit more careful about it later in the game, or if he's always this dramatic about it the whole time. I did not remember this. I did not remember that he just literally goes, "Hey, you're playing with the book.
Hey,
dumbass.
I noticed your tell."
Yeah,
I straight up think that it's going to be like that for the rest of the game. We're moving on from Stickler. The final thing that I wanted to say is that you have to establish Stickler's position in a situation, because that's like super important, is that his positioning was actually incorrect. You do this by realizing that the noodle stand on the other side of the noodle stand, instead of saying Eldoon, it says noodles, because Eldoon backward is noodle. So like on the other side of the stand, it just says noodle, and that's why Stickler thought that the stand said noodle instead of Eldoon. Right. I did not know that it said noodle on the back, because I didn't examine the evidence. I just sort of fucking guessed. I just took a shot in the dark and was like, obviously if he's not south, he's north, idiots. Like,
Yeah.
and that was it. The point is Stickler is an unreliable witness and a criminal. He will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law.
What's great is then as we get into the next investigation day, he's in fucking detention center.
He sure is. He goes to jail.
Thank God.
Piece
He goes
of
to fucking
shit.
jail.
All right, we gotta keep going.
Yeah, this is
so
We
day
got a time
2.
limit.
We got to get through this investigation segment because there's a lot of back and forth. So I think I will just summarize it as there's a lot of back and forth. You're going between People Park and the Maractus Clinic, and then back to the Kataki Mansion, and then back to Guy Aldoon, and then back to the Maractus Clinic, and you're moving back and forth between all these different places.
Very lost.
Kind of shuffling evidence, and eventually then you need to get a note from Emma Skye who lets you in to the Maractus Clinic. And before we'll get to you, Rose,
Yeah,
just in
I
a
was
second.
gonna
I just want
say,
to finish the summary.
I'll try and keep it as short as possible, but do the summary.
So basically then once you get back into the Maractus Clinic and you're in there for real for the first time, you find a couple things. One, you find a pair of sandals there.
Girly sandals.
Slippers.
No, sandals.
No, those are wedges.
Well, I mean, yes, I know the game calls them sandals, but
They're
They're
wedges.
Yeah. So, and then you also go into Pal Maractus's old office, and you are able to examine. Like, you hear somebody in there first of all, and as soon as you run in, the person who was in there has escaped and broken. Like, I guess the window was broken, and they ran out the back. So you can't chase after them. Trucy's like, oh, whoever it was, they're gone. So they look around the office real quick before they report it to the police. Very funny that you never actually see them report it to the police in game. Then
Very good.
I like to imagine that they never actually report the break-in.
They're just way too busy.
But they look around the office real quick before reporting the break-in and look inside the safe. They use their fingerprinting tools to figure out which last digits are on there and get into the safe. And in there is a bullet embedded into the back of the safe, as if somebody had fired a shot in this office and it flew into the back of the safe and embedded itself in there. So you take that bullet, and then you also pull out the documents in here, which show the medical chart for Waki when he had his operation here originally.
The huge HIPAA violation.
Huge HIPAA violation.
You open up this chart, and on it, in addition to Pal Maractus's name and showing the summary of what was done and what was not done to Waki, you also see the nurse, who is Alita Tiala.
Waki's fiance.
Who is now his fiance. And this was 6 months ago. So you take all that info, and you head on back. You get to talk to Waki one more time.
There's also more damning evidence for Alita, in which that the sandals at the Maractus Clinic has a toe print.
Correct.
And you guys powder the toe print, and you guys go, all right, well, there isn't a toe print database. And they all go, yeah, but this sandal's clearly Alita's because it has a blue ribbon on it, and Alita also has a blue ribbon on her wrist. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Also, if you talk to Waki, you have to present him the shoes, and he goes, I bought those for her as a gift.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That also does
he's
dead ass.
he's got the receipt.
He has the receipt.
So that's how you link.
And
that's how
then
you link it back to her.
And then the sandals that were found, the slippers that were found at the park in the trash can, also have a big toe print. Apparently, Alita's left fucking big toe, the most clear fucking toe print that's ever existed. Like, I don't know what it is, but yeah, you bring it up to Emma Skye, and Emma Skye goes, "Oh yeah, that's they're all the same."
We have to keep moving and finish the summary so I can complain.
Okay, yes, I'm just also bringing up that there's also more forensic stuff in which that you guys find shoe prints. You find the slipper print, which you find
use plaster in the shoe prints, which is kind of fun.
That is fun. I actually
loved it.
Liked it. I love it. I purposely went to every shoe print before I got to the main one. But the point is that you have a connection with Alita. Alita was the nurse. Alita was also here that night because she left her sandals here and put on slippers, and then she took the slippers and put them into the trash can. That is the line of that's basically her trajectory that night, I guess.
Exactly. Yes. You got it.
Now, what were you about to say? I forgot.
Yes. So let's go to Rose's weird, maybe a glitch thing that happened.
So
what?
This basically covers the sequence that Tiago just described. So, you do the thing. I struggling to move around. I often have trouble with this in these games. I have a guide open, and I only look at the part that tells me where I need to go next.
Okay.
Because the amount of time it was taking me to figure out which area to go to was detrimental.
Nightmarish.
Yeah. So basically, I just like, you do that thing where you like scroll so there's only the one line and it's like, go to People Park. And I go to People Park and see what happens. The usual. So basically,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get into the clinic. Everyone's like, you need to get in the clinic. I go to the clinic. I'm struggling. I can't figure out how to get in. I examine the area. An invisible police officer tells me to fuck off and get some connection to the case. I go, fine, whatever, this is stupid. So I go. Also, another thing that was not a bug technically, but a little gameplay funkiness was previously when I went back to try and get the slippers, Apollo tells you no, you can't get the slippers. So you have to wait until a certain time, and then you can go back into the trash can and get the slippers that you were previously told you didn't need. So,
Weird.
whatever. It's a point-and-click game. These things happen. So, immediately you go and you, like, do the shoe print thing. I have the slippers with the paint on the bottom and the leaf, and they match the footprint and the toe print. I have the toe print, but I can't get into the clinic yet to find out who it belongs to. So I've got all this stuff. I talked to Emma Sky. She's like, all right, we don't have a toe print database, but you need another shoe. I go, okay, I don't have another shoe. So I go back to the clinic. The invisible police officer is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, because he's invisible.
He's invisible. I have these shoes. They're clearly connected to the case. I've got the leaf print. I've got the plaster. I can prove everything.
The prompt to enter the location has not been occurring. Yeah, that
there
happened.
is no prompt.
Dude, same. I also ran into this issue where like I ran around a bunch of fucking areas being like, all right, how can I get into the clinic? And then like, I don't even remember how I got in. I straight up blacked out.
I'll tell you how I got. So 20 minutes. 20 minutes plus 20 minutes. I'm getting help from other people. We can't figure it out. I've got everything I need. I have the evidence. I'm looking at my guide. Nothing. I pull the whole guide out. I can't figure out what is happening. I'm examining everything. I'm going to every area. I'm checking all my NPC dialogue trees. Because before, I had an issue where I didn't complete all the dialogue trees. So I'm checking everything's checked off, everything's great, we're all set. It takes so long, I just start doing dialogue trees over again.
Oh yeah!
The checked off dialogue tree with Emma Sky. You have to do it again.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, completely checked off. Previously, the game has unchecked dialogue options when there's more behind them.
Right.
It did not do that. I was so mad.
Sounds like something they might have missed in...
I'm not joking around.
I didn't miss anything. I checked everything.
No, you didn't miss it. They might have missed taking the check mark off.
I'm not joking right now, Rose. I literally had the same exact
issue. It's the angriest I've ever been playing these games.
When I saw that, I actually just went like, I'm disgusted, and then continued with the case.
I was so, like, if I had been a child or, like, a younger teen, I would, I had the capability to Google stuff, but Googling didn't help me.
Yeah.
Right.
There was everything was just like, yeah, you did everything, like, it'll just open for you.
It's funny because when Iro and I were playing, or Iro and Dessy and I, when we were streaming,
dang, almost forgot.
Well, the reason I said Iro and me is because both Iro and me were also looking at a guide because we also had this bump in the road. However, the weird thing is we also had everything checked off dialogue-wise. And the way that we got to it was by presenting the slipper to Emma Sky. I went back and checked the VOD. And that was how, after presenting that, then she goes, the game pauses, and then she goes, okay, yeah, it looks like there's a connection. Here's the envelope so that you can go into the Maractus Clinic. So, yeah, I am not sure what happened here. I'm genuinely not sure what happened here. Don't know if it was a bug or if it was like the game wants you to present the slipper to Emma in a certain way or at a certain time.
It shouldn't give you the dialogue option.
But yeah, and then
it. Well, it
So,
can,
yeah,
but like it shouldn't check it off if there's more behind it, you know?
Right,
Yeah, it was a menace.
It's like they put it in as a backup option if people got desperate and selected that dialogue option again, but or something. That's the only
I can't figure out
optimistic resolution I can think to it. But yeah, it is really strange. So
because I was
these games get better
everything
at this over time, but yeah, you still run into some of the bullshit of adventure games every once in a while here, and it's a mood killer.
Yeah,
I won't lie.
That was
mood killer.
Beyond stupid adventure game. That was bug territory.
That was tough. I remember that. I also was like very struggling, and I sat there. All right, yes.
I'm curious if other people who've played these games have also had this issue, or if there's some is it if you go in this specific steps, that's what makes this weird thing occur in this way, right?
Yeah.
And they thought that would be a 1% chance of that happening. But actually, it was how most people did it.
When there are hundreds of thousands of people playing the game.
If they encourage you to talk about every dialogue option as soon as you can, and then you present a bunch of stuff and see if anything...
Except for that one time.
...gets, unlocked or, checked or added, And that's how you've been doing things the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like a bug, honestly.
Yeah. That part was super frustrating, but I also thought to myself, whatever. And then, I gotta finish this
I did
game.
not think, whatever. I was really genuinely angry. I don't like it when things don't work as intended.
Mm-hmm.
What's the fucking point? Anyways, so at that point, I'd been having a nice, if slightly confusing time. I go into the rest of the case pissed off, unfortunately.
Punished Venom Road.
I was not happy. Now, a couple of things happened that brightened my experience, but, I was not happy for the rest of the case. I was just sort of the whole time.
Yeah. So one last thing just to bring up from this investigation phase then is that also you happen to see Clavier with his motorcycle pull up, and he says something to the effect of, I'm having issues with my motorcycle because the exhaust is clogged and it can't start now, so I gotta take it to the shop. And that's just to drop that little factoid into your mind so that you have that for later in the courtroom case.
I just had an intrusive thought, and I have to say this out loud because it's relevant. You know how Clavier has a necklace? Do you think he's the type of person to suck on his necklace? You know what I mean?
Probably sometimes.
All right, sweet. We can move on.
So you get into court for the final day of proceedings.
When he gets really nervous. I just thought about that too. Now you have me thinking about it.
Apollo mentions that
that ADHD problem.
Apollo mentions that he only got 2 hours of sleep. He's like, I went to bed at 1 a.m. And Trucy's like, oh, well, that's not too bad. When'd you get up? And he's like, 3 a.m. And she's like, oh.
Tough, buddy.
That's a glorified nap.
And as you get into court, Clavier says, guess what? Our first witness is Alita Tiala. And so she pops up on stand. And we start to break down her whole testimony, in which she says, well, I didn't really want to testify, but I decided that, here I should tell the truth so that we get everything out in the open, because I want to protect, my husband and get everything clear. My fiance, clear the board. So she says that Waki was incredibly upset over the deception with Maractus and took a gun from his family, from his parents, since they're the mob. He got a gun and was planning to track down Maractus and shoot him. So she claims that she went to the Maractus clinic to warn him about this. Says he didn't take it seriously, and she left.
Yeah,
that's all that happened.
She continues to be like, I have no connection with the clinic, and then Apollo's like, you're a fucking nurse there.
You were a nurse there 6 months ago.
And she's like, well, that was 6 months ago. That's the past. And it's like, yeah, everything happened in the past. That's the past. So,
have you ever played an Ace Attorney game? We've dealt with stuff like every other case has another important case skin from the past that we got to care about.
So like she's like, oh, I guess I do have a connection, but I was only just warning him, and I was like, all right, so how'd you warn him? She's like, oh, I don't know, with like a gun. and like, I was like, oh, so you had access to the gun? And he was like, well, she didn't say that. She said that like, I don't have access to a gun, and everyone's like, you're the fiance of Waki Kataki. You clearly had access to a gun. He's a gangster, and everyone's like, no, and like, it's like, yeah, you had access to a gun. You had a reason to go to the clinic. You would be in a compromised position if the Katakis found out that you knew about Waki's fatal condition. That like, first, just side tangent, Eldoon turns out to be an old surgeon, and you ask him his medical opinion, and he's like, oh yeah, Waki's dead. Like, Waki's literally dead. I don't know why you guys are talking to him right now. He should not be moving.
Also, I will say, I know this is previous investigation phase, but the animation transition from him from noodle shop owner to doctor is so good. Because he takes off his noodle hat, which you realize then that the noodles are not his hair. They're just noodles. They're part of the hat. So you see his regular, nicely combed doctor hair underneath. His harmonica hanging on his neck, it like falls in such a way that it instead looks like a doctor's badge like hanging around his neck, right?
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of little subtle tweaks where they just slightly change the way everything rests on his body to make him suddenly look like a super professional doctor. It's a great little subtle change.
I laughed so hard when that happened. I was literally lying on the floor laughing because I'd been so pissed off. Like, I think some of it was hysterical laughter, but also just like it was so funny. I thought I was pissed at Mr. Noodles, Dr. Noodles, but I ended up thinking he was
Mr.
Dr. Noodles. I ended up thinking he was very funny, actually.
That redeemed him. That's
it
straight
was
up like
so good.
Made his character arc fucking worth it. Like, he turns out that he used to be a doctor, but then he was put out of business by the Maractus Clinic, so he opened up a noodle stand.
Yeah.
Question mark.
Alita's like, I have no reason to go there. I was like, well, if you got caught, the Katakis would kill you. And Alita was like, well, I didn't go there. I was like, you did. We have your shoes there. And she was like, well, I didn't do anything. I was like, well, you had a gun. You had access to a gun. And it was like, how do you know a gun was hard? I was like, we found a bullet in the safe. Like, there's, like, every time she brought up something, there was, like, a clear, rational explanation to it. Which I guess is, like, how every single fucking case goes.
I was just trying to get through it at that point. I was like, look, I've got your shoes. I've got your footprints at the crime scene. Like, let me show you, everybody. Shut up.
And Alita eventually does what I like to call the Dahlia Hawthorne turn, where it turns out that she's like, obviously, I was going to marry Waki Kataki for the money. He's a spoiled brat, and I wanted cash. And Waki's like...
And I knew he was going to die, so I was like... I just wanted to marry him before he died so that I could have access to the, the sweet, cash that his family had.
There's a subplot in which the Katakis are actually going legit now. They're, like, getting their crime organization. And the reason that Waki had this checkup was just to have a general checkup. This was just, like, a fitness exam. And they go, hey, Waki, there's a bullet in your chest. And he goes, wait, what?
And also it's great that Waki's dad, who, by the way, we haven't really talked about yet, but his name is Big Wins Kataki. So good.
I love Big Wins Kataki. He is fucking amazing. He's wearing like a traditional like fucking Japanese attire, but over that is an apron with a fox on it. And the apron is a very nice touch. And he like his eyes appear to be like these dark holes because he can't see his eyes because he's a man of the night.
Because he's a spooky mob boss.
So yes, you have all this stuff tying Alita to like Ryu would want to kill Maractus and all that stuff, and then like you bring up a certain point of like, all right, we found a vase with like red on it on the cord. Is that red your blood? Were you fucking choked out by Maractus? And she goes, yeah, I was, and then I blacked out, and then everyone goes, ha, we knew it, and then it's like, wait, you blacked out? So what happened next? And she's like, I don't know, I blacked out. And then it turns out that, I feel, am I jumping ahead here? Are we forgetting anything?
I think you're all right. It's all right.
All right. We'll edit it in post. So like what happens?
And by we you mean
By
Ben?
we you mean Ben. I love you, Ben. So what happens is that he blacks out, and then Maractus, and then this is just a whole bunch of fucking subjective subjecture. So there's like some
conjecture,
where it's like, all right, well, Maractus had what he thought was a corpse.
Ace Attorney recap and vocabulary test.
Yeah, thank you. A bunch of conjecture about like, well, Maractus supposedly had a corpse in his room, a corpse being Alita Tiala. The idea is that. Also, did we establish that Maractus was the one that hit fucking Phoenix? It was his car. He's the one that hit Phoenix. He's
the one who hit Phoenix, yeah.
Totally unrelated to this case, he just hit Phoenix on the way home. like, he got on the way home, and he hit Phoenix, and then, fucking Panty Snatcher hit into the same garage while trying to dodge, fucking Trucy while Trucy was chasing him. So he ended up in that garage, which is why he dropped his phone there. Fucking Maractus has a corpse in his clinic room, and he says, I have an idea. I will get rid of the body. And then he goes to his car, and his car isn't working because the panties are stuffed in the exhaust pipe.
Right.
And it's like, oh no, my car isn't working. What will I do? I will steal my neighbor's noodle stand. I will dump a bunch of the plates on my clinic floor. I will stuff the body, quote-unquote, body of Alita into the noodle car, and I will pull it towards the river in People Park.
Mm-hmm.
He does this. He does everything I just described. And then on his way to People Park, Walkie Kataki is just there. Like, he just showed up at the park with a knife and was like, I'm going to kill you now. And then Bractus is like, please shut the fuck up. I have so much shit going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Stickler gets involved and he's like, hey, everyone stop right now. And it is at this moment that Alita wakes up in the noodle cart and pulls out her piece and goes, I can't let this go to waste. I can't let him ruin everything. And shoots him from inside the noodle cart, which explains the positioning of the bullet in his right temple.
Exactly.
Alita is the true villain of this case. Well, Power Actus is, in my opinion, but, you know, whatever. That's the, like, super... I think that's, like, the quickest way that we can establish everything.
Yeah, no, you got it. You got it down.
Something that's very important is that while we were discussing the car, Apollo thinks to himself, where have I seen an exhaust pipe that hasn't worked recently? And he flashes back to yesterday where Clavier goes, yeah, my exhaust pipe isn't working. I gotta go to the shop. And then Apollo's like, oh, brain blast, and then figures it out.
Yeah.
So Tiala, her lose animation is very good. She has this, like, brooch on her chest, which has, like, wings attached to it to make it look like she's an angel. And when you call her out on it, the wings start flapping wildly like a bird caught in a trap.
And feathers go everywhere.
Exactly. Is her brooch alive? Or like, what the fuck are you wearing, Miss?
You know, Ace Attorney logic.
Yes. So that is how the second day goes. This actually, here's something that surprised me, is that I didn't expect this. The first day of courtroom was essentially 2 segments, because you had a break in between because of your criminal partner, Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
And the second day, there's not 2 segments. You handle it in one. Tiala is, like, I think your only witness. And you straight up accuse her of murder, like you always do. And
you just kind of, you blast right through kind of it.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's still a lengthy segment, but yeah, there's no break, there's no recess or anything like that. You just keep on going through until you finally, break through and get her to confess.
And Alita eventually does, because she's like, all right, so if I get out, the mob will kill me. If I go into prison, I don't know.
The mob will kill me.
The mob will probably kill me, but it'll be a lot harder, I think. And plus, they're trying to go clean. They wouldn't kill me. And then, like, meanwhile, the Katakis are, like, pulling out their knives and swords. So Alita confesses to trying to cover this all up. She confesses to knowing that Walkie was going to die in 6 months, and that the reason she was going to marry him was for the cash. And then she's like, yeah, I hired you, Apollo, because I thought you were going to lose. And Apollo's like, oh, geez.
I know.
Aw,
It's like, damn.
I really
Poor
thought,
guy.
I thought you had faith in me. And she's like, no, you idiot. I walked into a magician's room to hire you. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
fair. All right.
Yep. So yeah, that's and one last thing I think to mention here about the courtroom segment before we get to the wrap up in the lobby, is that the whole time like Clavier is like not very antagonistic with you. Like most of the time he's just like, I just want to find the truth.
He does call you Air Forehead.
Yes, he does call you Hair Forehead, and he just kind of, but he's like. Sometimes he's even like a little bit encouraging of you, of Apollo, and is like, yeah, no, go ahead. Do you want to do a little more cross-examination and figure something out? Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, he's like straight up chill with it. I also like that it's
a change of pace.
He's hunched over almost the entire time, and I feel like his posture must be so fucking
He
poor.
does like that, that lean forward,
Yeah.
Like cool guy lean forward, and yeah, it's like, oh man, that's gotta be murder on your neck, buddy.
The only times where he interrupts seems to be when like what you're saying can't actually be proven without evidence. Like he's not doing it antagonistically. He's doing it just to be like, all right, dude, you said something, but you do have to back this up. This is a court of law,
right?
Love him.
It's just a very different vibe for a prosecutor here,
The opposite of what you've been struggling through.
I like him.
Yeah, it's fun.
I think he's neat.
So yeah, so you get to the lobby, and you and Trucy get to talk a little bit about the case. Walkie shows up, and he's very mad at you that you put Alita into prison. He does not seem to really like grok what happened and how she was using him. And then his dad, Winfred Big Wins Kataki, walks in and he's like, "Listen, son, I'm gonna tell you what's up for real." And he has the
sickest
animation transition here in like so far his, like, to describe for somebody who might not have seen this, his eyes look like they're very, very deep set, like
they're
deep
sunken.
back in his head.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Heavy
very sunken into his
shadows.
face, and it's all black, like it's completely shadowed, so you cannot see his eyes. But then when the animation plays here, what you realize is that those are not actually his eyes. They are indeed huge eyebrows, and he's got these little tiny pinprick eyes that are like almost like tiny little puppy dog eyes. It's so
cute.
And he's like, "Anyway, son," and Walkie still runs away. Rocky still like he runs out of the room and is like, "I can't believe you. This is."
He doesn't know how to emotionally handle it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's like, I don't. He doesn't know how to deal with all this.
So
And,
what turns?
he's like, "Don't worry, it'll be okay. My son will come around."
Yeah, it turns out that the reason the Walkies want to go legit is because, or like the Katakis want to go legit, is because his father
Walkies.
found a surgeon who's good enough to do the surgery, but they have to pay in legit cash. So that's why he's going to clean, is for his son's sake. And Walkie goes, Walkie has what is like his first serious pose. Like he's always been like
that's
hunched
true,
over,
also.
crazy face, but like when he realizes the truth, he actually stands up and looks at his father like straight in the eye like an adult, and is like, "Are you serious, old man?" And that is, I think, my favorite interaction between two, like a client and their friend or whatever. I love the Katakis. I think they're an amazing fucking client, and I love them.
It really helps that we're on the DS now and we have so much more room for files, because now you can do one-off sprites like this for emotional moments between these two characters and have it resonate, by having them do totally unique poses just for this one moment. It's great. It's great. I'm glad that we can do this kind of stuff now and help these moments land, and you don't have to, listen, before, like, the limitations made them be creative in some ways with some of the animations and trying to find multiple ways to use them. But here it's nice to have, like, an animation for a character that you will literally see just one time,
It's very good.
And it helps it land.
I think final thoughts about this case. I actually do really enjoy this case. I think it was very interesting. All the characters were interesting. The only smidge there are two smudges on this case, two asterisks. One of them is the whole panty snatching quest, which I found just to be trite. I've like.
Oh, okay.
What?
Right.
Right.
Strike,
Hey, listen,
Phoenix
he
Strike.
said Ben said grok earlier, and I still don't know what that means.
Yeah, get a handle on things.
I got a grok on it now.
Yeah, exactly.
So I thought that was like whatever. But yeah, I get it. This is a mid 2000s anime game. Of course, gonna do some dumb shit like this. The other asterisk was, of course, what I'd like to now call the Rose incidents. Which
I'm still so pissed off. I can't even judge this case fairly.
That's what I was about to ask you, Rose. Is it possible for you to set that aside and give an opinion on this case? I realize that's probably impossible.
I mean,
but how'd you feel overall?
I agree with Tiago. I found the whole like panty snatching subplot to be just in generally poor taste. Like there was one joke in there and it wasn't.
It's
worth
like a
it.
little eye rolly, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's. I'm not
Cringe,
like
perhaps,
offended by
one
it.
might even
Yeah, I'm not
say.
offended by it or like honestly, like if you ask me, am I honestly bothered by it? I'm like no, but I'm
No.
like it's eye rolly. You know, it's like whatever.
It didn't
Okay.
need to happen. That's my thought.
No, they could have easily come up with something similar and not had it be panty snatching.
I think if it was one joke, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
But like the fact that they keep hammering
Yeah,
it
beat
home
that dead
over
horse.
time.
Like
But-
Trucy says, I'll show you the magic these panties can do. And then Phoenix Wright is like, hey, listen, I understand that you found my daughter's panties, but why the fuck are
Can
you
you
still...
not?
Can you
Yeah,
not-
why are you still holding on to those? Can
Yeah,
you
like,
please.
Yeah,
She
get rid
keeps
of them.
like actively like I don't know.
bringing it up?
And it's
Yeah.
like Apollo was uncomfortable and like I was uncomfortable because I checked the ages of characters. And I
Yeah.
guess, whatever. Anyways,
They put them in the game, so it's not like they're trying to hide it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
but still, like, I don't know. It wasn't my favorite. I don't know. I felt I don't know. Like I had some frustrations outside of the Rose incident where like, I definitely like I said I felt like I wasn't solving the case. I felt like the game was having Tracy solve the case while Rose like clicked on buttons.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The occasional frustration of like I know the answer, I have the evidence for it, but I have to force the game into the point where it will allow me to present the decisive evidence. But that's just an inherent issue with these games. So,
Sure. Character-wise, though, we're feeling good about Trucy. Really liking
I
Trucy
think
so far.
Trucy's very cute. I
Trucy's
want her to
great.
let me talk a little bit more, but I think she's extremely cute. I like her little like bouncy animation. Jury's
I
still
like
out.
her deadpan animation
Yeah,
too.
Jury's still out on Hobo Phoenix. I like Trucy's theme song. I thought
Yes.
that was my first one where I was like, ah, and the sort of like dramatic, like serious investigation drama music is pretty good in this one. Now that I've heard it,
Feeling good
Yeah.
about Clavier then as well.
I'm feeling good about Clavier. It was kind of a breath of fresh air. He's not hitting me with anything. He's not spilling drinks
not
on
tasing
me.
us.
Nobody's
Yeah.
tased me yet.
He's not beating me to death.
Yeah, so I like him. The character designs I think are I would say overall this case and the gameplay therein was not my favorite by any means. But I liked all the characters. I thought they were fun. I thought their designs were wonderful. And that's enough to carry me on to the next case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And lastly, Emma Skye then as well. I was also going to ask about her.
Honestly,
I know we didn't get a ton of her,
yeah.
but I feel like the bits with the science with her, like she's really grumpy when we're doing anything else, but as soon as we get back to science stuff and invest, like,
she's
anything
pumped.
with
Yeah.
yeah, then
I
all of a sudden
liked-
she's super excited. It's great.
I liked that she was allowing me to do science, but honestly, I was like a little underwhelmed by her presence. I was like, well, okay, you're just here. I'm sorry you're sad. Please give me the fingerprint powder now.
She was just like a chaperone to like let you fucking pour plaster into the ground like an art
Yeah,
school
I'm
project.
hoping that will improve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I
Well,
understand
she's our
she's
detective
supposed-
for this case,
Yeah,
so,
she's like the gumshoe now, and like,
Exactly.
but she's
Yeah.
not poor, so like, we don't know how to make fun of her. Yeah, I this isn't like my favorite case out of the Ace Attorney games, but like, I did enjoy this case. As always, every single case will always be better than Big Top Circus or whatever. But
Talking about Big Top.
I think this case is even better than some other cases. I think I like this case more than the last case in Game 2, because the last case in game 2 wasn't that exciting for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah. We will. I think call it there then.
This has been a long one.
Yeah.
I gotta
we got
go.
a lot out of this one. Yeah, no,
I
no worries.
I
no worries.
love all
Nothing wrong
of
with
you.
that.
I have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have a hard out at late soon here. So, that will do it for us this week, folks. You can follow the show on Twitter at Ace Attorney Pod to stay up to date on all of our latest episodes, as well as the streams and then YouTube uploads of Dessy and I playing through the game. So, we are going to be playing through Case 3 next. So if you want to watch us do that, you can do so there. You can follow me on Twitter at Yotseben and on co-host at Yotseben as well. Dessy, where can people find you?
At Yes, This Is Des on Twitter and Dessy on co-host.
Tiago, where can people find you?
At Tiago S. Dutra on Twitter.
And Rose.
You can find me at Trom Arts on Twitter and at Rose Nonsense in various other locations.
All right. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. We hope you will rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. Next episode, like I said, we will be playing the third case of Apollo Justice, which is Turnabout Serenade. This will be a fun one. There's going to be a lot to chew on next time, so we hope you will join us for that in 2 weeks. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yo, see you later. Keep it real, G. And then this is the part where we play 99 Problems by Jay-Z. Okay,
If we
bye.
must.
I will get in trouble for that.
Yeah, I don't think.
Play a 10-second MIDI version.
If you having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. I got the rap patrol on the cat patrol. Foes that want to make sure my casket's closed. Rap critics to say he's money cash holes. I'm from the hood, stupid, what type of facts are those? If you grew up with hoes in your zapper toes, you celebrate the minute you was having dough. I'm like, fuck critics, you can kiss my whole asshole. If you don't like my lyrics, you can press fast forward. Got beef with radio if I don't play they show. They don't play my hits, well, I don't give a shit. So, rap mags try and use my black ass so advertisers could give them more cash for ads. Fuckers, I don't know what you take me as or understand the intelligence that Jay-Z has. I'm from rags, the richest niggas, I ain't dumb. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Hit me. 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 Hit me.